solid plan. Spins a yarn, recants a tale. The esoteric approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common man, charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Oh boy! Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello? Objects in your mirror may be closer than they appear.
Little Cubbies versus Little Tigers, bottom of the third inning. Little Johnny up to bat. Little Billy, the pretend pitcher for the Little Cubbies. Little Billy pretends to pitch. Little Johnny swings, and it's a dribbler to second base, and it goes by Little Aaron through to the gap. All 9 Little Cubbies chasing after it. The right fielder, Little Danny, laying on the ground, playing with dandelions. He won't get there. Maybe the right center fielder, Little Kenny, will. No, it goes by Little Kenny, too. All the Little Tigers will score, except Little Johnny. Little Johnny is running the wrong way. The man that hit the dribbler to the gap is going the wrong way. He's rounding second, but in the opposite direction. Pandemonium here on field number 3. It all comes down to this. Little Cubbies, their final at bat here at the T-Ball World Series. Little Brendan up to bat, 2 inside the park home runs today. On his way to another MVP season. You'll remember he was the MVP of spring T-Ball. They switched teams for the summer T-Ball league, and Little Brendan still able to produce. His Little Cubbies down by 1 here with 2 outs in the final inning. Here's the fake pitch from Little Tigers closer, Little Jack, and it's a long fly ball to deep center field. Has Little Brendan done it again? Yes, he has. Touch them all, Little Brendan. The Cubbies win the T-Ball Summer League World Series. Little Cubbies all over the field, mobbing Little Brendan. It's a walk-off. Cookies, gummy bears everywhere. Little Brendan's dad, the coach, getting a juice box shower, doused with juice boxes, and it's Little Mike Doss Jr. doing the honors. Good to hear from Little Mike Doss Jr. Lost earlier in the season when he tripped over third base when he was supposed to run to first. Little Mike Doss Jr. can't be held down. What a day here at the T-Ball Ball Yard.
He's the clown from Brown. He's the 4th in the North. This is the Common Man, Dan Cole.
Well, Wilbur, a little ack-ack-a-dack and dack-dack-ack you and yours. I'm Common. He's not Tennessee. He is Brett Blakemore in for the vacationing Tennessee. I'm a radio dinosaur. They call me the Common Man. This is my La Brea Tarpon. This being the fan. Someday archaeologists and paleontologists will be sifting through the rubble. It will be 1600 Utica Avenue South. Cold skeletal remains. They'll stumble across them. They'll find my cold, dead, fossilized lips attached to this Neumann BCM 104 microphone. It ain't a Neumann anymore. I don't remember the name of it. It's an Electrolux or something. A little cheaper, not as expensive, but we burned out 3 Neumanns, and they just decided they weren't. You know, it's like you learn as a kid. Did I ever tell you the story about my brother got a Schwinn banana peeler? It was these old Stingray bikes, and it was like the latest and greatest. They actually had shocks on the front, so when you'd like go off a little bit of a curb or something, but boom, you have shocks in the back, and it had disc brakes. The whole thing was the coolest thing ever. It was $100, which was really expensive back in 1967, 68, whatever it was. And I didn't get one, and I cried and I threw a temper tantrum. I cried and I cried, I'm going to bike too. I can't believe that was me, because now I would just steal one if I was really needing one. But at the time, I wasn't, so my dad finally caved in and gave me one. and another $100. And of course, I got the orange crate. There was the banana peel, the orange crate. I think the apple might have been apple crate too. There were 3 of us. I should have got the candy apple one, but I got the orange one. And left it out in the rain, and the seat got torn. I just destroyed it. My dad used that. You don't have to hit that no stuff. Don't hit that one. I'm tired of that. And so I just left it outside, and it got all destroyed. And my dad used it as a lesson. He said to me, this is why you don't get things. When you get nice things, you need to take care of them. And much like Harry Chapin about learning about love in the back of a Dodge, the lesson hadn't gone too far. It didn't go too far with me either. But yeah, so let that be a lesson to you. Do you have to do snow removal, or do you live in an apartment, a house, a cave, in your car? Because I don't even really know. I mean, and if you live out of the backseat of your car, I feel bad. I mean, I'm not going to like rent a room to you or anything, but where do you live?
Thankfully not. I'm in an apartment, so no snow removal required.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Are you nearby?
I'm like 15 minutes away.
Oh, that's not so bad.
With no traffic.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
Because I decided that I wanted to own a home. This is my second home. My first home, I had a short driveway and I didn't have a snowblower. When you buy your first home, you don't know what you're supposed to have. I call it a starter home. It was brand new, real small. I mean, for me, it was barely 2,000 square feet. I consider that a kind of a small house. Maybe for some people it's a mansion. Everybody's at a different place in their life, right? And I thought, well, I'm just going to shovel snow. That's what you do, man. You shovel your snow. It's not that big of a driveway. And I would shovel my snow, and I would see my neighbors all with their snow blowers running them while I'm blowing. And I used to and of course they couldn't hear me over the din of their snow blowers, but I would yell, "You're soft! Shovel! Be a man!" And then I would see that they would finish, and then they'd pull their snow blowers into the garage, and then the garage door would close and would be quiet except for my shovel digging into the snow on the asphalt. And I'm like, I got another 2 hours out here. They were done in like 20 minutes. And I thought to myself, now that's the way to go. So I decided it isn't being soft, it's being smart. But here's the issue. This is what happened to me. So, by the way, is anybody else I know, we live here and, it's Minnesota. We go to 4 seasons and I'm so tired I'm just tired of it. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of snow. And it was just relentless. It wouldn't stop. Just inch after inch, foot after foot. It was, I did my driveway twice. And the reason I did it twice is I woke up, I'm terrified of getting wet, heavy snow clogged in my snowblower. Because if it gets clogged in your snowblower, it's really hard to get it out of there. And then it's like, well, now it's going to, what should be maybe an hour to get a driveway done with the kind of snow we had, you're looking at days. I could still be out there right now trying to remove snow from my driveway. So, but I learned something. Because what's happened, because it said it was going to be wet, heavy snow. So I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, couldn't sleep, tossing and turning, panicked that my driveway is not going to get done. So I go out there and I fire Big Sid up, and I learned something. You know what? So here's what I did. I Googled how do you blow wet, heavy snow without getting clogged? You know what it said it wanted me to do? Wanted me to take, like cooking spray that you put on like on a cookie sheet, or you put it on a frying pan so things don't stick. It said, spray that into your snowblower. And I'm like, well, that's not going to work. That's the most preposterous thing I've ever heard. Plus, I was like, how much do you put? And this guy, the demonstration, some guy had some industrial strength sprayer. I don't have an industrial strength sprayer, and I'm not going to go get an industrial strength sprayer. But it said, blow the snow at the highest gear you have, right? So so it doesn't get a chance to get stuck. And then it said, instead of doing one big huge swath, do a half a swath. And it worked. And I got my driveway done. Of course, it's 6:30 in the morning now. I'm done. Everybody else is still sleeping. And I go, I'm going to have to go do it again now, too, which I had to do. And I became so frustrated with it and so angry This is what I did. I built a snowman in my front yard, put a little top hat on him, a corncob pipe and a button nose and 2 eyes made out of coal, and then I beat him to death with a snow shovel. Just absolutely destroyed him. My neighbors, if they were watching, must have thought I was insane. Because I built him, he was so beautiful. I had the big fat bottom on the bottom, and then the next one, I had a little top hat on him, and, little carrot for a nose, and I just took my shovel, and it's sort of like, have you seen the Morgan Stanley commercial on TV? You watched golf this weekend, didn't you?
I did.
You see the Morgan Stanley commercial where Justin Rose is playing and he's struggling.
Yeah, and he breaks it over his neck.
Over his. Every time it comes on, I have to race to the. I never miss the commercial. It's one of those I can't miss because I just love the way he gets. He's just hacking it in these bunkers, and then he trunk slams. Do you see that where he takes his clubs? He throws them into the trunk of his car. And he just slams down the trunk. Now, I don't really think he does it. His caddy slams the trunk for him, I would think. I don't think he's putting his clubs in his courtesy car, but maybe he is. I don't know. But I felt like Justin Rose. And it felt so good to just release all that built up anger toward winter. Because I don't know about you. I'm closer to death than I am to birth. And I just don't know how much more I can take of this weather. I don't like winter. Sorry. So I'm one of those people. Call me soft. Call me whatever you want. I don't like cold. I don't like snow. You know what it was like? Now in California, it was like 100 degrees. It was like July, but I'd still rather do 100 degrees than do the snow. But and then you know what the snow did? Because of the snow, Saturday 4:00, I was going to have a life-changing moment. I couldn't do it because of the blizzard, but that'll come another time. I'll get into that. Plus a lot of other topics, Brett Blakemore. Another weather-related story. And then we got a lot to get to. We have the Playas. The Playas just got played. It's March Madness. And we do have one Minnesota Golden Gopher representative. The gals are going to play. They got a 4 seed, and I think they get 2 home games. And so that's going on. Your Wolves club. And then your Wild. I think I might be done with your Wild. I need an explanation from you, Mr. Wild Guy. And then we haven't talked Viking quarterback situation in so long. I thought we might dive into that sometime today as well. So there's plenty to get to here on the Common Man program with Common and Brett Blakemore right here on the Fan.
This is your season. You can experience the energy, the goals, the unforgettable moments at Grand Casino Arena. You can get your tickets now, including to Wild Canucks April 2nd, Wild Kraken April 7th, Wild.com/tickets to cheer on the Wild this season, Wild.com/tickets.
We're going to get to the Wild a little bit later. If I understand it correctly, I'm not paying as close attention to the National Hockey League in general, and specifically the Minnesota Wild as I once did, but I think they've lost not 1, not 2, but 3 in a row into the dregs of the league. I mean, terrible teams, terrible cities, terrible fans, terrible stadiums. I know that you are one of the foremost Wild experts in town, Brett Blakemore. We will get to that in just a little bit. But right now, it's time for Peek at the Purple. And Peek at the Purple is brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. We talked about winter weather and what it can do to your electrical systems and such like that. If you're planning some spring projects, now's the time to get on that list. Affordable Electric will do like wiring for hot tubs and outdoor lighting and porches and all that kind of good, happy stuff. So if you're looking for it's Affordable Electric. I mean, it's like I say, it's shockingly affordable. Hold on, I got to do it. Yeah, thank you. It's shockingly affordable. Affordable-electric.com, affordable-electric.com, or 612-331-VOLT. One of the things, we broached this topic last week regarding the new quarterback of the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings, a kid by the name of Kyler Murray. Apparently, Rosen thought his name was Kyle. And I guess if you drop the R, it is Kyle, right? Maybe he goes by Kyle. As a matter of fact, I heard PA. I was in Greg Swedberg's office, newest inductee. And that won't happen until later this year, though. But the latest iHeart inductee into the Minnesota Broadcasters Hall of Fame, the Pavic. I just ran into Dave Ryan, who was leaving. He had a big plastic bin carrying it. I was wondering, for a second, I thought he'd been let go. Because, generally, if you're carrying a big box or a big plastic storage bin and you're leaving the radio station, it's usually because you've been let go. But then I thought, well, they're not going to let Dave Ryan go. He just got into the Hall of Fame. He's legendary. I think maybe it's one of those things where, because we're downsizing, like I have an office now. And by the way, I just closed circuit to management. I've done my best work since being given an office. And now they're going to take my office away come this spring. And so maybe Dave Ryan was just, taking some things that he had here, because we're all going to have smaller workspaces. So maybe he was just taking it home, but I congratulated him. He's also one of Marconi. He's legendary, just like Greg Swedberg is and everybody else. But a PA was on in the background on the radio, and he was calling him Etienne, the kid for he's a running back, but that's not how you say his name. It's Achan. Did you know that?
I did.
How did you know? How did you find
Achan?
out? Yeah, how did you know it was Achan? How did you find out?
Just being on the internet, I guess. I guess I don't know how I knew that.
Yeah.
Just hearing people say his name, I guess.
Well, yeah, but everybody's been calling it Etienne because, as a matter of fact, I found this. I stumbled across it. Okay, listen to this now.
So growing up, Travis Achan. So it'd be like Achane. And that's how you always said Travis Achan. But when I went to college, I kept telling them my name like every day. And like after like 4 weeks, they just couldn't get it. So I'm like, man, it's Etienne. Like, how you say it is how you say it. So that's how that became. And it kind of took off because it was easy for the pronouncers to say it. I didn't have to just tell them. I didn't have to correct them every day to say my name. And just when I kind of just started learning more about my last name and how it came about and things like that, it just kind of stuck. It made sense. But I'm very much open to being Travis Achan again, just being myself. I don't have to correct people here on how to say my name each and every day, and I kind of love that, and that's just get back to me.
He's back to who he is. He's Achan. He's Achan. So that's the name. It's Achan. And I didn't know. I didn't even know who the hell he was until all of a sudden I stumbled across the story. So the name is Achan is what it is. So now we know how to correctly pronounce his name. Anyway, nevertheless, when we talk about Kyle Murray, he's a different sort of quarterback than we've had here recently, including with J.J. McCarthy, Carson Wentz, certainly Kirk Cousins, even Sam Darnold. Darnold had a little bit of mobility, right? I guess Wentz could, plod around a little bit. But and McCarthy's got some athleticism and can run a little bit. But it's certainly not, Kyler Murray is much more, he's got some mobility to him, right? And some athleticism. And some are wondering, well, how does he fit in to the Vikings offense the way it is currently constituted? All of these play callers, offensive coordinators, which Kevin O'Connell is not only the head coach, but also, I guess, technically he doesn't have the offensive coordinator title, but he indeed, it's his offense, right? And a story in the Fish Wrap Factory West Side took a deep dive into that. How does Murray fit into O'Connell's offense? And it says, not all play action is the same. A 7-step drop from under center is different from an under center rollout or those from shotgun or pistol distances. They require different footwork and lend to differing preferences among QBs. That said, Murray's preference is clearly not under center. He's been an effective play action passer from the shotgun and pistol formations, which account for 3,080 of his 3,342 dropbacks in the NFL, or 92.2% per Sports Info Solutions. Think about somebody sat there and had to watch that. I got a job for you today. You work at Sports Info Solutions. And they go, what do you want me to do today? I need you to watch every single pass Kyler Murray has thrown and tell me, did he drop back out of center, or was he in the shotgun or in the pistol? And you got to go straight back, drop back, under center, and then pistol. Hey, he did a pistol. Hey, he did a shotgun. No, wait, he does the pistol and shotguns. It's the under center what he doesn't do. I'm assuming the guy that had to look at all those events, I bet that number's not even accurate because he got so bored of that tedious job. He just started, he did like almost, what do they call it, an average or a median, where he just said, the hell with it. I'm not going to sit here and look at this all day. This is a terrible job. It's a terrible assignment. But nevertheless, what it says is this would require a shift from O'Connell. Cousins led the NFL in under center dropbacks in 2022, and Darnold ranks second in 2024. So in other words, Darnold and Cousins, they play from under center. Murray doesn't like to play from under center, or at least that's not his strength. And we talked about this last week. To me, you can ask the player to make some changes, right? But to me, it's like if he's more comfortable playing that way and he's been more successful doing it that way, then that's where I think it's easier to tweak your system a little bit. A coach should be able to go, okay, I got something different to work with now. This is kind of fun. Sort of like that mad scientist experiment. I'm going to have to design more plays where we work out of a shotgun than we do under center. Under center is kind of nice. Because when you're out of the shotgun, it's a little harder to sell play action unless a running back standing right next to you, right? I just think it's harder to sell play action. So under center, I think, is probably better because when the guy drops back to pass and he does the old, is he going to give it to the running back or is he not going to give it to the running back? Especially if you have an effective running game, which the Vikings really haven't had since Adrian Peterson, right? A really effective running game. Really where it's like, all hands on deck. When Peterson's in the backfield, you're expecting run. That's what you're looking for. I think that makes it a little bit more difficult for the defense to line up against and determine what the offense wants to do. Because let's face it, we're bringing back AJ. A. Jones, and I just and then we got the kid that we got from San Francisco 2 years. No, is that where we got him? What's his name again? The backup running back.
Jordan Mason.
Jordan Mason.
Yeah,
and he's all right. He's pretty good. So I certainly don't put our running game near the top of the list of the league. So let's see him get her done. When we come back, by the way, Peek at the Purple brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric, affordable-electric.com. They are shockingly affordable. I'm going to talk a little bit about the two winter sports teams, professional men's, Wolves Wild. That's next. Common Man Program here on The Fan.
The Fan's Bracket Challenge has returned.
No, it has?
Yes, it's back. You can head to our contest page. Lock in your bracket today. First place will win $2,000
come on.
and a 65-inch TV.
March Madness.
Plus, a perfect bracket could land you $1 million.
Good luck with that.
Don't delay. Get yours now, KFAN.com, keyword contest. It's driven by Dave Smith Motors, America's only national car dealer.
Who did the song, It's Impossible? Was that a Frank Sinatra song? Or
could be.
Dino Martin? I know, have you ever heard, nothing's impossible. It's impossible to have a perfect bracket. It just is. I know you can say technically, yeah, you could. It'll never happen, ever. That's why you offer $1 million. You could offer $1 billion, and it's not going to make any. No one's going to get a perfect. It just takes one shining moment. Cinderella story, Cinderella kids, Cinderella team. The glass, Chuck Taylor fits just right, and the pumpkin turns into a coach. No, coach turns into a pumpkin. Coach K turns it into. But anyway, it's cool. Anyways, to think about. I think we'll do some live listen-ins this week.
Oh,
on the Common Man program. It's a godsend, and I air the live listen-ins not because I really care what's going on. It just allows me to not work for you. If you add up the amount of time if you're doing live listen-ins, I can kill an hour and a half just on live listen-ins. Right?
Yeah,
I'm all for it. I think the listeners might be too. Before we get into the, we might talk Wild. We'll talk Wilder Wolves sometime today. I don't know when. I know I promised it for after the break. But this one says, talker with Lil B. This is a talker with just you and I think. How early is starting to snow blow too early and disturbing the neighbors? These are things that keep me up at night. During a blizzard, there is no. I am the eye in the sky. I'm the maker of rules. I can read your mind. I make these rules. I've always been, for mowing the lawn, Saturday 8 a.m., Sunday 9 a.m., right? Now, there are noise ordinances in, I think Woodbury has a noise ordinance. Not 6 a.m. before you can start running machinery. I started at 5:24. Come and get me, Kappa. I think with a blizzard, snowstorm, all bets are off. Now, I didn't have to go to work. What if I had to go to work? What if there's somebody out there that they need to get to work? They work as an EMT. They work for the FBI, the CIA, the BBC, B.B. King, Doris Day. Dig your way out of the snow. Well, what? Get your beauty sleep some other time. I got to get out. I got to get to work, especially if you are a first responder, right? Do you want to all of a sudden die in a fiery car crash? Could have been saved, but you find out that well, you wouldn't find out because you'd be dead, but your family finds out, well, you died because first responder guy couldn't get there because he didn't want to start a snowblower at 5:30 in the morning. He wanted to wait till 8 or 9 while everybody was up. Do you agree? You don't have to agree. You're entitled to your own stupid or your own opinion. I mean, plus, the wind's blowing 30 miles an hour. The snow, by the way, does lessen. And I will say this. I did hear my neighbor's snowblower at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. But it was a couple, 3 houses away. And I could hear it, but it wasn't like it was rattling the frames of my windows or anything like that. Your thoughts?
I'm someone where I could literally sleep forever. I have no natural alarm clock. So if I was in a neighborhood and heard you at 5:30, I would be annoyed. But then my comeback to that is, well, don't live in a neighborhood.
Well, that's another thing.
You know what I mean?
Go live in a place that's secluded. Yes, yeah. Very secluded.
But it wouldn't be me. I would wait until the last second because you got to get that sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, I could sleep until 1 in the afternoon if I didn't set an alarm. My body just knows
really?
Oh, yeah. My body knows no bounds on sleeping.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm almost like, I'm jealous of people who just go, oh, I get up at 8 a.m. every day. I'm like,
I get up.
No chance.
In the summer, I don't even need an alarm because I know I'm going golfing. I'm not making it. I mean, I set it just in case.
Yeah.
But I get up literally every morning for golf. I'm up by 4:30, 4:45 every single day. It just automatically get up.
If I ever get the text this summer, loggers tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., you in, I will have no less than 6 alarms ready to go at any moment.
What if it's Prestwick 4:30 in the morning?
I would have 7 or 8 alarms. I'd be there, but so I got to get up.
Here's another thing. Somebody here at the radio, this is vacation time for a lot of people. I generally kind of roll my eyes, shrug my shoulder, and shake my head for people that go on winter vacation in mid to late March. Because generally, and this would be the year that it was a wise thing to do if you saw what happened this weekend, right? Generally, though, I like to take mine in January, kind of split up the winter, right? Because by this time, I mean, a week ago, I was golfing. A week ago today, I was golfing. Now, it wasn't ideal. It wasn't like, 65, 70, 75 degrees. But if I want my winter vacation, I don't want it when summer or spring is starting to sprung, right? But that's not. That's not the point of this long rambling dissertation. What is somebody here at the radio station went on a vacation, and I said, "Did you get in and get out?" Because they were planning to fly out on Saturday. The text back said it's a go for 2:30 at this point. At 2:30 Saturday afternoon, winds were blowing 30 to 40 miles an hour. Snow is sideways. We're smack dab in the midst of this bad boy blizzard. And they're at MSP saying we're taking off. And again, I guess you got to trust them, right? I don't know if I want to get on that plane with the way the weather was. Obviously, they knew what they were doing because the plane left at 2:30 and all's well that ends well. But I don't. Do you see what I'm saying?
I get it. I think once you're in the air.
Well, once you're in the air, but it's getting into the air.
Yeah. It's a big problem.
You got to de-ice them, and I know they know what they're doing there as well. But what if you had a bad day? What if de-icing guy had a bad day? And just the idea of when you're flying and you hit that turbulence, you see those wings, they look like they're about to bust off at the bolts. They're just going, and I know they need to be that way. There has to be some give to them. Otherwise, they would just snap off.
Yeah.
But I'm out there looking out at those wings, and I'm going, man, is this thing going to make it? But apparently all's well that ends well. They took off, and it was good. But I got to admit, I don't. Here's one. Last time I checked, snowblowers are not under the noise ordinance rules for the very reason you talk about. I did not know that. But that only does make sense. Here's one that says, try justifying your insane start time to the parents of the baby you woke up in the neighborhood. Common. Well, it's that. Here's another one that says it's called a shovel. Yeah. If I would have tried to shovel that wet, heavy snow, I hope first responder guy did blow his driveway because he would have to come to my house to revive me from a heart attack.
Your golf season would be over before it started.
It would be over. Speaking of that, my life was supposed to change 4 o'clock Saturday. I was supposed to get fit for the I-540s over at Second Swing in Minnetonka. But I texted Aaron. I said, look, it looks like this blizzard could be so we rescheduled, but then and by the time 4 o'clock rolled around, it was snowing, but I still probably could have made it. But the weather affected that changed my life. Well, just momentarily, it's not going to change it forever, right? But certainly it changed it for the time being. My dad flew 747s for Northwest. He would say the most dangerous part of the trip was the drive to the airport and back. Yeah. Here's one that says, that's at 2:30 on Saturday, the storm hadn't even started. Well, I guess you're right. I guess it really hadn't. Because it started snowing in Woodbury about 4. So maybe he's right. It was. But still, as high winds, it's here's another one. The wings also flex to improve the ride during turbulence. Otherwise, the cabin will be bounced around even more than it already is. Wouldn't feel bad about snow blowing early. It's not like people have their windows open. Yeah. Here's another. Common. The odds of having a perfect bracket is 1 in 9.2 quintillion. So that $1 million prize seems abysmally low. Like you said, never going to happen. It should be, if you get it, if the odds are literally 1 in 9.2 quintillion, that should be how much money you win. If you have a perfect bracket, you should win $9.2 quintillion. And if you won it, that's great. But think about this. This is what I tell people all the time. 9.2 quintillion. Well, that's $986,239,000 after taxes. Then you got to buy a house, got to buy a car. Everything costs money. Taxes, spend, invest, save, flaunt. That equals out to about $1 trillion a year. Can you make that last?
I always love that one.
Can you make that last would be the big question. I don't know if you can. This is probably. Did you watch Selection Sunday for the SC? I was out blowing snow for the second time of the day, so I did not.
I did not. I unfortunately watched the Wild.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We got plenty of time. I find myself, and we've talked about this for the past couple of years, and I talked about it a number of times throughout the Gopher basketball season. When you don't have the hometown five, when they're not a factor at all, I don't get as excited. I mean, once it gets started and we have it here on the TV and you fill out your bracket, I'll start, I'll get into the spirit of things. But when you don't have a team, now again, on the women's side, we do have the Minnesota Gophers. They got in. Though they have it different with the gals. They get 2 home games, right? Which in the NCAA tournament for the men's, there's no home games. You go out to the central locations, south. I don't know what I don't know what each region is. It's the south and the west and northeast or whatever it is. But they don't have a actual anybody has a home game. But if you get the number 1 seed, you pretty much get a gimme, right? So everybody knows that. I did see where yesterday Purdue beat Michigan in the Big Ten Conference Championship game, which would, I think Purdue was ranked. They're in the top 20, so it's not like it was a massive upset. I don't think, but still, it's an upset nonetheless. I suppose do you do a bracket thing?
I do one just within the family, and maybe and that's about it.
Yeah.
I don't, one and done, and maybe one silly one where like my team or my mom's team, like Iowa State or Wisconsin, go the whole way, but really that's it. And I pay attention, but it just as a non-hoops, a casual, as BBP would say.
Right.
It's not something where I'm locked in. I've got the 4 split screens on every matchup. Like I'll have it on if it's on, but that's it.
I guess I'll follow my it's how I've approached the NCAA bracket stuff. I talked to Dylan, who is used to be a sales guy here. He was the guy that always put the pools together here at the radio station. And I called him out of the blue the other day. I haven't talked to him in a long time. He was surprised to hear from me. He was probably wondering where I got his phone number. Sounded almost disappointed. But he said he is going to do a bracket again. That all here at iHeart are in. So I'll do the same thing I do. I put together 3 of them, right? I put together one where I sort of kind of just through my, and I'm a casual when it comes to college basketball as well, but I'll go where I sort of kind of know some things I've heard and what you've read, and I'll put one together. Then I do one with just all sorts of upsets, right? Not every game an upset, but I'll throw in, all right, I'm going to have this team take a run. These are going to be my 2 Cinderella clubs, and I'm going to go with them, and I'll have a little bit more fun with it. Then I do the bracket that I do every year, and it's worked for me once where I take every top seed winning, so that by the time I get to the Final Four, it's I have all 4 number 1 seeds in the championship bracket. And the first time I ever did a bracket back in 1992, that was my best board. It had 3 of the number 1s and a number 2. And the only problem is once you get to that point, you got to pick the ones that are going to win, right? Because when it's a 1 against a 1, there's not like you're taking the higher seed anymore. And I picked both games wrong in the Final Four and ended up losing. I think I finished like 3rd or something, but I did not win the money. So that's what I'll do as far as the NCAA tournament boards go. And we'll go from there. Did you say you had 534 locked and loaded with golf stuff?
I do. Yeah.
Well, then we'll save it. Did you watch any of the players yesterday?
I watched most of yesterday.
Yeah. I watched it pretty much start to finish. I will say this. Somebody, I think Deuce told me, he was listening to the Power Trip morning show. He likes reliving 8th grade every morning as well. Power Trip. And he said when they were doing their picks on Wednesday that some of the members of the show were kind of complaining, almost whining about, why don't they just call it a 5th major? Why isn't it just a 5th major? Because everybody for years, people have been calling the players the 5th major. It probably has the best field. Well, it does. It has the best field of any tournament all year. Because, like, even at Augusta, the invitations, like, if you won the Puerto Rican Open, you get invited. Is the guy that wins the Puerto Rican Open one of the best players in the world? No, if you win an amateur, they give players that have won championships in other countries the Open, like the Singapore Open gets an invite. Now, I'm exaggerating on Singapore, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's probably not as strong as, like, right now, the Players has the strongest field. It has all the FedEx Cup, top FedEx Cup players, top-ranked players in the world, et cetera. I just don't feel a need. I don't know how you feel about it as a golf fan to have to officially label it as a major. If you want to count it as a major, just pretend in your head it's a major. I think that's how the players approach it. Not the players tournament. I mean, the golfers that are participating in it. Because for me, the problem becomes, and I know this happens in all sports. When you went from 154 games to 162 in Major League Baseball, the record books change, right? Yeah. They just do. And the same thing for golf. So you're going to start calling that a major. Well, now what's a Grand Slam of golf?
Yep.
Right? And then do you go back retroactively and anybody who won a Players is now considered that they won a major? I guess you can do that. But I just don't. To me, I just don't feel that there's a need to officially make it a major. It's like my theory about having the national championship in football. They used to just have the mythical national champ. Sports writers would write about it after all the bowl games on January 1st, January 2nd, they would determine a champ. Now, I know that's imperfect, and that was never going to last. But I just don't see an issue with not calling it a major. I think the way it went down, the way it's going down right now, where you play it before the Masters, and you have the Masters, the PGA, the U.S. Open, and the Open Championship, and just leave it at 4. So I don't need to muddy the waters with the new one.
So very quick research. Mm-hmm. So grain of salt here. But how many Grand Slam golfers there are? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 6. So you've got Gene, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Sarazen, Ben Hogan, Gary Player, Nicholas Woods, and now McIlroy. Mm-hmm. 4 of them also have won the Players. Ben Hogan and Sarazen, the Players didn't exist at that point.
Well, of course. So do they?
So those would be the 2 people that
that's not
lose
right.
Their Grand Slam status. Which
that's not right. And Hogan was probably Hogan was a better ball striker than all those guys. So why would you want to do that to Ben? Oh, Ben doesn't. Then you have to put an asterisk next to Ben's name. That's sacrilegious. And same with Sarazen. So,
what if they just say they're honorary Players champions?
I guess you could do that.
Yeah.
Or you could just leave it like it is and have 4 majors.
You could do that too.
And not worry about it. There's enough importance put on that tournament as it is. It doesn't need to have, a cherry on top. I don't think. I think it's fine the way it is, but that's just me. We'll pause. We'll come back. When we do, we have a little 5-3-4 for you. Brett Blakemore, do you have a tease for us?
More golf talk, and we'll panic or patience with the Wild.